Hello Leeds fans, hope you're all doing fantastically well. Apologies, I am extremely ill, so I'm going to try and get a really quick preview out. If you haven't watched the video from yesterday, which was a stream of me discussing Leeds United's current predicament, potentially is going down, everything included with that, you know, the structure at the minute, the management structure, all this sort of stuff, Leicester City, what's gone on this season. It was a massive stream. Check that one out. Honestly, it's probably well worth it. A little bit out of sync because I was streaming outside, unfortunately. So yeah, check that one out. Probably well worth it. A lot we discussed, a lot of ranting and a lot of passion went into that. But alongside that, on the Patreon account, we got a Generation Leeds out last night, which was a fiery one. Me and my dad sat down and spoke about everything Leeds United on the show, the podcast that we produce all the time on our Patreon. So any proceeds that I make from that goes straight back into the channel. So if you want to hit the link in the description below, I think it's £4 a month. And you get bonus content on there all the time. So yeah, check that out, guys, if you want a little bit of additional stuff as well. We're always looking for sponsors here on the Leeds Fan Channel. If you are a business, a local business in the Leeds area, give us a shout and we can maybe work something out. It's always great to have local businesses on the channel. Okay, so Leicester away. God, we lost that one, didn't we? Leicester at home. Got to be transparent. I'm not expecting anything from it. I'm expecting Leeds to lose the game. However, if there is a mental change, if there is personnel change, and if Javi's a little bit more proactive with his substitutions, I think we can get a result. I think we can get a win, even. I think the issue for me right now is I think we need 2 wins on the bounce, you know. I think we need to beat Leicester. I think we need to beat Bournemouth. And I just worry with this Leeds side at the minute, which was almost referenced by Forest and then Crystal Palace, that they just can't put a succession of results together. So I'm a little bit worried about this one. I'm genuinely thinking to myself as well, like, you know, even if they were to beat Leicester, would they genuinely get anything from Bournemouth, which is what they have to do, because they've just not proven it this season that they can consecutively pick up wins, not just results as in points, but wins. So I think there's got to be a completely different Leeds side out there in terms of mentality. There's got to be egos on the pitch in terms of, in a positive way, taking the weight of that Leeds United shirt, having a bit of attitude, expressing yourself and showing your quality. And I think you do that with personnel changes. I think as well, when we're talking about personnel changes, I think you've got to get players out of the side who are low on confidence and not delivering week in, week out, and are causing Leeds United to concede more than ever. It's not working at the minute, and I'm a little bit worried that Javi doesn't seem to recognise that it's not working at the minute. I'm a little bit worried that Javi hasn't quite computed that we've conceded 13 goals in 3 games and that he is being judged massively by the fans at the minute. I'm worried that he doesn't really understand the magnitude. I'm not seeing a lot in his body language on the side. I'm not saying he needs to be ranting and raving, but I want to see a little bit of passion from him. I want to see him barking orders at players if they're not running around. I want to see him delivering a tactical imprint on this game, which is going to flummox Leicester City. It's the Leicester City who are in 19th place. Oh, sorry, we're in 19th place. We're in 18th place now. They've got a lot of quality. They beat us earlier on in the season when they were on a turgid run. There is a likelihood that Harvey Barnes and James Maddison are going to be back for this one. We know what Harvey Barnes does against Leeds United, so that's probably going to be a 2-1 bet. If any of you want to put that on with any betting site that he will score against Leeds, because we never seem to be able to grasp against Harvey Barnes that you can mitigate Harvey Barnes by showing him on his left foot. Whichever fullback it is, and this just shows how dreadful our fullbacks are, they seem to just show, he starts on the left and he just seems to cut inside continuously on his right and finish. Do a couple of 1-2s around our defenders. We don't seem to ever cotton on to it. It's always the same goal or assist with Harvey Barnes, and he just runs riot against Leeds. So that is something that is a severe problem. That is something that Leeds have to, as I mentioned, mitigate against, because if they don't, he's just going to run riot, even if he has just come back from injury. Tielemans, superb player. Obviously, I watched them against Man City. I thought they put an all right performance in. Leicester, I didn't think they were too bad. Well, lost 3-1. 3-1 loss at Man City isn't a bad result for Dean Smith. I mentioned earlier on that he's not going to come in and be a tactical master. I've mentioned this at the start. Everyone was saying it's a shocking manager. Let's all laugh at Dean Smith, which is just a natural response to a manager who's been sacked in the Championship or you know, a lower ebb. But I think Leicester made a shrewd appointment there, because he's going to come in and just do a little bit of man managing. I mentioned previously that man management wise, he got quite a lot out of players at Villa like Tammy Abraham, Conor Hourihane, Jack Grealish, and that's what really he was known for, and did a really good job there in terms of, as I said, man management. So for 12 games, him coming in with a good team who shouldn't be down there, let's be right, when you're looking at the quality of Leicester City, it's a perfect job for Dean Smith. But excuse me, back in the Premier League, and you know, doing it with a side in his area near where he's from, so he'll be slightly, you know, a little bit more passionate about that one, and he'll want to prove a lot of people wrong. And I think he's got a good cohort of players to be able to do that. I think when you're looking at the standard of player that Leicester have, I think it's as good, if not better, than Crystal Palace. I think they're in almost like a false position at the minute. And I know the table doesn't lie, but when I'm looking at the quality of player and, you know, the options that they have on the pitch, I am worried about this one, because I just don't think Leeds have the quality at the back to be able to, using that M word again, mitigate against Leicester's attacking presence. You know, we beat Wolves, didn't we? Leicester, you know, so it's not, you know, we've done the double on Wolves, so we can't use that as a yardstick, really. I think Wolves are very here and there when it comes to performances, but I thought they were good in the second half against Wolves. I watched that game. But overall, we've got to see some changes from Javi. If he sticks with the same side, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game handsomely. I think it'll be a 3-1. It could get even worse. I'm not even going to go into that realm. But with the confidence of this bunch at the minute, the quality that is on the pitch, especially in the final third, which is rancid, he has to make changes. And if he doesn't recognise that, then he is part of this massive problem, because we can all say it's the players, we can all blame the charlatans at the top, which is quite right, but when Javi Gracia isn't picking Willian Yonto, you are literally, if you're Man City, not picking Erling Haaland or Kevin De Bruyne. You know, if you're Arsenal, you're not picking Saka. If you're Liverpool, you're not picking Salah. Willian Yonto is Leeds United's probably most explosive and ruthless player. I think technically Sinisterra is probably the pick of the bunch. But when you're looking at someone who can make an impact, having Willian Yonto and having Sinisterra on the pitch at the same time, providing that they're working back and helping the already tragic fullbacks that we have, surely is the way forward. Leeds have got to go for bust, everyone. I said it on my stream yesterday, they've got to go for bust. It's done now. It's done. If we don't win this game, we're down. That's it. Because you look at the fixtures coming up, and even if you think we're going to get something against Bournemouth, look at the remaining 4 fixtures. They are ruthless, and teams in and around us have better fixtures toward the back end of the season, and probably better form at the minute, maybe taking into consideration the last 3 to 4 games. Leeds are in a dire need now to get 3 points tomorrow, and it is all on Javi's selection. Do I think you're going to get a performance from Willian Yonto that is going to be star-studded, or Sinisterra that's going to be star-studded? I don't, because I think there's clearly a low ebb within the entire squad. It's not just, you know, players like McKennie and Rocker and Meslier. It's within the whole squad. There's almost a poison within the whole squad at the minute, for whatever reason. They've not mentally recovered from Crystal Palace equalising, which is utterly embarrassing, really, when you look at the fragility of this side, the starting 11. So the key differences that need to happen for me, I would substitute Illan Meslier for this one. I think Rob Les is a competent keeper. I think we saw that in pre-season a couple of times. We've seen that in the cup competitions. He's a leader as well, you know. He's a leader. A lot of people don't consider that. Anytime I've seen Rob Les on the pitch for Leeds, which has been quite rare, he's barking orders at the centre-backs and the full-backs. And honestly, just remember from those cup games, him doing that. He made a couple of really good saves as well, I thought. And I didn't mind him at all. And I think, you know, he's a big boy. Big boy, and you think coming from corners, he's going to, you know, corners been played in, he's going to have a lot of experience. I can't imagine he's going to make many mistakes. He just seems solid. So I'd have him in for this game. Right back, Christensen needs to be dropped. I know Ayling's probably going to get ripped up against Harvey Barnes because he can't defend either. But Rasmus Christensen, once again, having brought him in for Fulham, almost, come on, let's have a trial. Let's see what you're going to do against Willian. Came in, failed again. Willian had him on toast for the entire game. So Ayling comes back in. Ayling, I guess, is a little bit better going forward because Rasmus is rigid and stiff and can't cross the ball. So I'd have Ayling in there. I would have centre-backs as Verber and Cooper. A lot of people have this thing where you can't have two left-footed centre-backs. I think I understand that there's not a massive balance there, but I think Verber can use both feet, which helps. I think at the minute you need two leaders at the back. I don't think Robin Koch deserves to keep his place at the minute. I'd have Firpo at left back, midfield. I'd have Rocker and Forshaw. If he wants to really switch it up and make us strong in the midfield, he can keep McKennie in there, but he needs to have Forshaw in as a midfield three. So there's a balance across the midfield, a defensive midfielder. And then you've got Rocker who can sort of sit in the 6/8 and then allow McKennie to go forward. Hopefully he can be bothered this time. That'd be nice. And then you've got Bin, Aronson and Harrison off because they're way out of form. And it's really upsetting, really, because I sort of predicted it with Jack Harrison. This is why it irked me when so many people were saying, oh, Harrison kept us up as much as Rafinha last season. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's so many external factors which point towards Rafinha keeping us up last season, not just the numerical stats and assists. It was everything else with Rafinha. What a mentality he has, and I think we know that Jack Harrison hasn't got a mentality whatsoever when it comes to a steely one. So I'd have him out. I'd have Aronson out. Aronson is just the perfect player to run into a cul-de-sac, to find a dead end, and he's not good enough. So I'd have Willie in the central spot, and I'd keep Somerville in. I think he played really well the other day, or one of the better players in this side. And I'd keep Bamford up there. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I'm slowly dying here, so I hope you appreciate this preview. And yeah, make sure you're slapping a like on the video. If I'm not dead illness-wise, because Leeds have just killed me off anyway, I'll be back with a post-match maybe at some point on Wednesday-ish, or Tuesday night, whatever. We'll wait and see. But guys, really appreciate your support once again, and I'll see you in a bit.